There's a process that we waste a lot of time on, and it's actually onboarding your internal staff members. So you usually want to get them their company links, their login credentials, meeting team members, meeting managers. So there's a series of things that you want to make sure that they do when they onboard with you so that they know how to do their job. And then just all the other stuff that has to happen. There's going to be like some modules that you guys have them watch, security training, that kind of stuff. And then like insurance and payroll and setting things up like that. So there's a series of things that we all know has to happen. And I would say most of the time when I've worked for these companies in my past full time, if it was a real small company, it's almost like wild, wild west. Like you get in there, they give you a laptop, and then that's it. Like you just kind of have to figure out what to do. And so it puts a lot on the new hire to have to ask around and figure out what to do. And hopefully they did everything correctly. And so it's a lot of like anxiety, I guess I would say, for like the new person that's signing on with the company to make sure everything was done correctly. And then the reverse also happens, which is if they don't know, they're going to start asking a lot of questions and taking away from people that are doing their job. And so it's just a lot of wasted time that way. The other side of it is if you do have somewhat of a process, this can save a lot of time to make sure that they got all the things that they needed, they know how to do their job. And it almost works as a sign off for the company to say, okay, great, they've gone through everything. We know that they're good to go. From here on out, it's going to be easier to coach them and make sure that they're doing the right stuff because we know that they went through these onboarding programs. So in this diagram, what we're going to do is show you how to automate that because everybody does it. You're going to hire people. So you might as well make sure that this is automated and it doesn't take you a bunch of time to do. So the diagram is going to show us how a business automatically welcomes, trains, and checks in on new employees so nothing gets missed and people get up to speed fast. So you have a new person up here is going to trigger this system to fire off. You hire someone, you add them to, let's say, Salesforce as a new user. That will trigger this system for us. From there, what we want to check to see is if this person is a staff member. So are they an internal employee or is this an external person that we're adding? If they're internal, aka staff, then what we want to do is go down and send them some type of welcome email. So usually you get something when you first join the company. Hey, we're excited to have you here. It might be a little more personalized with like your team and your manager and just like a little bit about the company and some stuff like that, like the founding information about the company so that they just have a little more info. That's a pretty standard one I've seen. You also want to include probably something around like day one guide. This doesn't necessarily have to be day one, but the day one guide, I would say, would be stuff like the access and company links and the about us for the team. So when I've worked for other companies, usually it looks something like, here's all the stuff that you need to get access to with a bunch of those links. So like my insurance and all that kind of stuff. And then there's usually like a internal company headquarters type of thing. Whether they host that like in a Notion or a Jira or even just like a Google Doc, there's usually going to be some type of internal thing that I get access to that's going to be like, here's everything about us. Here's all the links that you're going to want to know. Here's where you can get to all these things is like a self-guided help where you could go to. So company headquarters 101 kind of thing. So that would be another thing included. And then I've usually got something like, hey, here's your team. Here's a little bit about us. This is where we're located. Here's some info on them. Sometimes that's on the company headquarters page. Sometimes that's separate. But either way, I usually get some kind of like information telling me about who my team is and who my manager is. The company modules is the next thing to send out. This is stuff that just has to be done that nobody wants to do, but you have to do. This is going to look a lot like company policies, security stuff, what I can and can't do on my laptop, workplace behavior, what's appropriate versus not appropriate. Also things here like signing up for my insurance and getting myself set up on payroll. So banking information, all that kind of stuff so I can get paid. So here is probably more the important one. This is like nice to know. This one here though has to be done. There's usually a limit from, hey, we onboarded you. There's a certain amount of time that we have to be able to check this off. So this is really what we want to pay attention to is telling them where to go for this. There's usually some kind of third-party program here that they send you to where it hosts all this information. You'll log in there and then it tracks your progress to show, back in IT people, whether or not you've completed this. So we will be looking at this company module, basically seeing if it's complete or not. If it's not complete, we just basically wait till it is. Once you do complete this, a nice thing to do that I've seen other companies inform is send email over to the manager for a meeting. So this is just basically saying, great, they've gone through all the basic stuff. Now it's time for you to like meet the person and get to know them a little bit better, have like more of a formal introduction after they've kind of taken care of all the one-on-one type of stuff. So I feel like day one, day two is a lot of that kind of stuff, just taking care of what needs to be taken care of. And then like day two, day three is you kind of actually trying to get into the work and get ramped up. So this is usually a better time to start meeting with your manager and your team from there. What I would do as well, if you really want to have somebody schedule a meeting with their manager, I'd highly recommend this. It usually helps with setting expectations. What does our team do? What's like expected workflow between me and my teammates? What am I responsible for? You can set all of those expectations, answer any questions that they might have had just about the job in general or the company in general. So here I would be looking next for, did they schedule that meeting? This is going to tell us two things, whether or not that they've had onboarding completed and they're behind or ahead of time. And then also scheduling this meeting to basically kind of see like if they're taking that part serious and we actually have had a formal sit down. This is going to be helpful again for coaching and stuff in the future and company wide to just say, hey, like efficiency wise, right? Take away the emotional side of this whole thing and acting like someone's in trouble. But the efficiency wise of the business, how long is it taking us to get people ramped up in these different departments? For IT, is it 1 to 2 days? Sales, is it taking 5 days for some reason? So we want to be able to see that, and having something like scheduling the meeting with the manager is like that checkpoint to say, great, I'm onboarded, I'm ready to go. Let's start ramping me up. So that's another reason why you kind of want to track this. So in this situation, we're going to be a little bit more on the ball. If they do schedule the meeting, great. We're going to mark onboarding as complete. If the answer is no, we're going to send a series of reminders here. So what I would do is probably space these out. Maybe not all within the same day, obviously. You probably want to do like a day at a time to delay these. So, okay, great. Did they schedule the meeting? They've said that they've completed those modules above. They have not scheduled the meeting. Let's send a reminder. Maybe wait a day. Have they done it again? No. Okay, send another reminder. Wait a day. Have they done it? Okay, send a reminder. You could send as many reminders as you want. As always, this is just more of a framework of a way to think about this. This is by no means the exact way that you would do this, but more of a framework to think through. How many reminders would we want to send? How important is it for us to get on that meeting with the manager? So in this situation, I just have it doing 3, but you could have this do as many or as little as you would like. The point again is just to say, yes, I'm done with onboarding. I've met with my manager. I'm now ramping up to get into my actual job. Back end, C-suite people, leaders, they want to know this so that we know how long it takes people to get onboarded and ramped up into their position. So that way when they hire, they know how long to expect this. So really cool framework to have. It's going to make it a lot easier. I feel like IT tries to get on this as soon as they possibly can to start automating how everything is sent out when they hire somebody new. This can just make it a little bit easier if you have not done this. So if you'd like this setup, you want us to come in and do this for you, there is a link in the description. We'll see if we're a good fit for you as your consultants. If we are, we'd love to come in, talk about your onboarding process, and then build this out for you so it's all automated. So if that sounds interesting to you, click the link. We look forward to chatting with you soon. Thanks.